Well, good evening, friends, and welcome to the Magical Adventurers. My name is Matt. Thanks for joining us tonight, and thanks for being part of our magical community. And of course, tonight's show, as always, is sponsored by the Magic Coordinators, the official travel agency of the Magical Adventurers, owned by two former cast members that have been visiting and staying up to date with the most recent COVID procedures in the parks, and they would love to help you plan your next Disney vacation. You can contact them through the Magic Coordinators at gmail.com or on their Facebook page, and by Dreams That Glow Clothing Company. You can find them on Etsy and on Instagram. They have amazing Disney theme park inspired tees. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show off the merchandise here tonight. We got this nice, fantastic Adventureland shirt. It's got everything that's amazing about Adventureland, including those fantastic cheeseburger spring rolls. And, of course, skipper jokes. Those are the two main ingredients of Adventureland, including the tiki birds and magic carpets and all of that. Amazing stuff. Tonight's show, I'm really excited about. It's our very first Planning the Magic, where we are going to discuss all things Disney vacation planning. And I have very special guests here this evening. It's the Magic Coordinators themselves. Please welcome Audrey and Hannah, the Magic Coordinators, also the people that make these amazing t-shirts, and they're wearing 2 of them as well. So welcome, guys. Why don't you just introduce yourselves and give us a little bit about both the Magic Coordinators and Dreams That Glow.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. I'm Audrey.
And I'm Hannah. And we are the Magic Coordinators and Dreams That Glow Co. Dreams That Glow Co. is our t-shirt business. So like Matt said, we all 3 have some of our designs on tonight. But yeah, it's just theme park inspired tees. We have everything from Magic Kingdom. I mean, we've covered all the parks, and always have new designs getting ready to come out.
Yes, and then we also have the Magic Coordinators, which is like our vacation planning business that we've started, and we would just love to help you guys plan your vacations, and we'll talk a little bit more about that tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we're going to give you a little taste of their expertise tonight. But of course, if you want the full personalized vacation planning experience, be sure to reach out to them, and they will be happy and excited to help plan out your next magical visit. All right, so how we're going to work the show tonight. Now, this is our first Planning the Magic. So, of course, I always ask all of you out there to always provide us feedback here at the Magical Adventures on anything we do. Because we want to know how to improve and make all of our stuff here magical and amazing for you. So basically, Planning the Magic is probably going to happen about once a month. And each month will be a different specific topic, because there's so many different topics between the dining, and if Fast Pass ever comes back, we have that, and just how to beat the heat and the crowds and all that stuff, where to stay, how to get there, all that stuff. So tonight what we're going to do is like a little Disney Vacation Planning 101. So we're kind of going to just give you some general overviews, some general FAQs. And if you guys out there have any questions about planning your next Disney vacation or planning Disney vacations in general, be sure to drop them in the comments tonight. If you're watching on the replay, be sure to comment your questions as well, or send us a message or email Audrey and Hannah at themagiccoordinators@gmail.com, and we will be happy to answer those questions for you. So we're going to start with some just general FAQs. I wrote some down. I know Audrey and Hannah also have some points that they want to mention tonight. So, I guess one of the age-old questions of Disney vacation planning is stay on property or stay somewhere else off property. And it is a different time, but what do you guys think about that particular question?
Yeah, we would almost always recommend staying on property. We just think that's part of the whole Disney experience, whether it's staying at like a themed room with your favorite characters right outside your bedroom, or staying somewhere nicer and just being a short walk away from Magic Kingdom, or just lots of extra like amenities and benefits to staying on property.
And kind of going off of that too, when like really advanced dining reservations come back and Fast Passes, there's a lot of good benefits to staying on property with that as well. You get to make those reservations and Fast Passes kind of earlier, so you get the whole Disney experience, and they definitely make it up to you with giving you those benefits.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree. I mean, we've seen the argument in recent years that some of those benefits have been leaving, such as the Magical Express and extra magic hours, currently suspended. But they were even shortened a while back as well. But I just think just staying close and being immersed in that magic is worth it. And there's like good, there's some that are a value price. My personal favorite is Pop Century. I think it has good value, and it's nicer than like the All-Stars. What would you guys think in terms of certain hotels? Like which ones do you think would be the best to stay at?
Yeah, we love Pop Century. And especially now, we love the Skyliner, and we would recommend any resort on the Skyliner loop. With how crazy it is getting to Hollywood Studios in the morning, the Skyliner is such a help, and it's just such like a relaxing. If you haven't had a chance to ride the Skyliner, It's Disney's newest form of transportation. That's a gondola system. And it's just like kind of a peaceful, quiet ride. And it's typically only your party in a gondola, especially right now. But yeah, we just are a fan of that and the ease of that. So we would definitely recommend something on the Skyliner loop.
Yeah, we both love Art of Animation, which is another value. Value resorts are great. Like you can't go wrong with them. You know, if you're looking to save a little bit of money, obviously moderate and deluxe resorts are super nice and fun too, but nothing's wrong with the value.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, especially if you're in the parks all day, and you're just all you need is the bed and the shower.
Mm-hmm.
It works, and it's really nice. So,
yes, I was just gonna say some of the deluxe resorts, especially have like a benefit of being closer to certain parks. Like any of the Magic Kingdom resorts, of course, you're walking distance from Magic Kingdom, or like Boardwalk and Beach Club. You can walk to Epcot, so that is another benefit. And kind of a common theme we'll probably see throughout the night is it just totally depends on your family and what is important to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that Epcot resort area because you can walk to Epcot and Hollywood Studios.
Yes.
If you have that choice, and the Skyliner that's somewhat near there as well. If you wanted to walk to the back of Epcot, take the Skyliner over. So I think it has like the most versatile transportation options in that Epcot area, and it's like right in the middle. It's not like too far off, like towards Animal Kingdom, like the All Stars are. But it's a nice area. I like those resorts as well. So yeah, so many great ones. I mean, just the dream is to stay at the Polynesian, but one day. So another question that comes up, you booked your hotel, you're ready to go, but what type of ticket should you buy? There's always a few options. You could just have a base ticket, one park per day. You could throw in the hopper. And sometimes if you're going multiple times a year, sometimes an annual pass is worth it. So what do you guys think about that part of it?
Yes. Also, just kind of like, I would say it depends on if you're going with kids, the age of your kids, how long your trip is. If you're going, for like a week, you may not need park hoppers. If you just want to do like one park a day and then go back a couple times. If you're going just for a short trip, I would recommend park hoppers just to get the most out of your time there.
But yeah, like, and if you have, like younger kids too, they're going to be so immersed into everything. You don't want to just be like dragging them through the park. But if you're a frequent visitor, you kind of know what you like to do, what rides you can skip, or you're adults and like, okay, I'm not going to want to ride Small World or whatever, then park hoppers are great because then you're not stuck in one park. But yeah, I feel like with young kids, if your vacation's long enough, just the base ticket is totally enough because there's plenty to do and see and all of that. So
yeah. Annual passes. We both are pass holders or have been pass holders, and
the next three.
Yes. I mean, it's great just to be able to kind of have the idea that you could go whenever you want, because you already have tickets. And of course there's perks, once you're in the park with your annual pass. I would say it kind of starts with like the math of like how many days will you be there, and is it cheaper to get an annual pass? And then I would also consider like the additional room discounts and just extra benefits that you get with having an annual pass.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think if you go enough, like, especially if you time your vacations correctly, like, so for example, we're DVC, we're going, that's Disney Vacation Club. I'm just throwing acronyms around and I realize maybe people don't know them. So it's Disney Vacation Club, which is basically a timeshare for Disney. But we have annual passes and we're going 2 weeks in July. So then if you go again, like June, then you're using your annual pass again, and it just winds up paying for itself. Plus you get that merchandise discount, sometimes discount on additional rooms. There's a lot to like about it.
Yeah.
But that being said, if you're going for your once in a lifetime vacation, I would agree. I think the base ticket is enough because my personal opinion. I'll see what you guys think too. I think 2 full days in each park is almost the minimum at this point with how much they're adding. It depends on the park and depends on everybody's interests. And that's, I think, like you said, Audrey, that's the theme tonight. It's based on everybody's interests and family size and all that stuff. But I would say for me personally, it would be 2 days per park at this point. What do you guys think about that?
Mm-hmm. I definitely think for a first time, I would agree with that. Just so that you can see everything and not feel rushed. Kind of take it all in, and then by the second day, you'd know, what do I want to do again? Try some different dining options. I definitely think
there's so much food to eat.
Yeah,
I mean, you could have a whole year of just eating Disney food every day and still not eat it all. So, yeah. I mean,
but we also. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna, especially when you stop by the spring roll cart every day, and
right.
You need to have diverse options as well, but can't get enough of them. So,
right. No, and like we understand too, that's not always affordable for everyone else, like for everyone too. I mean, tickets are expensive, Disney's expensive, and you kind of know that going in, so it's important to set your budget on what you want to do. But yeah, 2 parks or 2 days at each park, is a good thing. But I think, as long as you hit every park, if you have those base tickets, you're going to spend all day there. So you're going to get to see and do stuff. And yeah, then that's just all the more reason to book another vacation to go back and do it again.
That's what I say. If you miss something, well, guess we have to come back. What a shame. No. Yeah, it's, especially I think too, even for me and my family's vacations, Animal Kingdom was this underrated park. So sometimes we'd only try to spend 1 day there because we wanted to spend more at Magic Kingdom or more at Hollywood Studios. But now that I've been to Animal Kingdom much more, I'm like, Animal Kingdom needs 2 days now. With there's so much to see there, and the way that the park is set up, which I love. It's you're on this journey, this safari almost, where you're like, it's not like this hub and spoke straight paths that Magic Kingdom and Studios and even Epcot have. You sort of need to find your way around, and there's so many little things to see that I think that's why I think every park needs 2 days now. Sometimes 3 or 4, but yeah, you're right. It's all based on the budget, and I think as long as you hit them all, of course everyone's going to want to hit Magic Kingdom. That's Disney. That's where people usually start. And Epcot's got all the good food. So, on the food side of it, now this is a theoretical question because there is no Disney dining plan right now, but we know for sure that at some point that's going to come back once we can open up all these restaurants fully. So, in your experience, would you recommend the Disney dining plan? And there's a few levels of them, and we can, certainly get into that a little bit. Or would you, recommend maybe a la carte? I don't know, people have preferences, but what, from your guys' perspective, what would think about that?
For us, I know in a lot of our recent trips, we have not done the dining plan, and that was before they quit it. But yeah, I have not used the dining plan in a really long time because it was going to be more expensive. But growing up, my family did the dining plan a lot, and you'd always have all those extra snacks left over, so you're like just grabbing stuff at the end. So I don't know. It has its benefits and its perks, or like, what am I trying to say? Like
pros and cons.
Pros and cons. Yes. There we go. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you just have to kind of price it, and like, how much is your family going to eat? If your kids are picky, you're probably not going to want to eat at all these like super off the wall places. But if you are willing to try those places, then it might be worth it because you are spending more money on your meals. So yeah, kind of fits the theme of the night. Just depends.
Yeah. I would say it's also like the convenience of the dining plan, like just to have it paid for before, and you just know, you don't have to worry about food, like paying for food once you get there, and you just know, like, I have this meal this day and I have this many snacks today. It's just kind of a peace of mind. But like Hannah said, I mean, there's definitely benefits to not doing the dining plan as well. kind of more flexibility if you only wanted to eat one meal in the park that day, or if you wanted to eat all three, then, you can do kind of whatever you want.
Right. And I know this is going to sound very simplistic and basic what I'm going to say, but if you're going to eat all the food, then it's worth it. When you have those 2 snacks, 2 meals, if you're going to eat all that food, then it's good. But, I know sometimes, you'll eat like your big meal, and then when you want to use your snack, you're like, oh, I'm not really hungry for a snack right now. We'll save that for later. And that leads into the buying all the snacks at the end and, going home with, 100 bags of Chip and Dale chocolate covered pretzels, which are good. But, I always say use your snack credit on a Dole Whip or, there's so many good things. The pretzels, those cream cheese pretzels. Like, what are some of your snack picks in Disney World? Here we go.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Can't go wrong with the churro.
Right.
It's kind of a classic snack.
Classic.
Mickey sandwich or Mickey bar. I'm Mickey sandwich.
Yeah, I think the sandwich is underrated.
I agree.
I think everyone goes to the bar because it's classic. It's good too. The bar is good too.
Right.
And I really enjoy it. But the sandwich is underrated. It's cookies and cream ice cream, by the way. I also feel like it stays together a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, we're gonna talk about food. But welcome to the 5-hour show of us salivating over Disney food. And obviously, as I mentioned before, the spring rolls are fantastic. Dole Whips, that's the classic too. You feel like pineapple, or there's vanilla, or there's. Do they still have pistachio? I don't know. They got rid of that one. They do, right?
I don't know if they still have lemon lime at
Storybook Treats.
It's super good.
Yeah, I like that one.
Brendan says you're making me hungry. That's don't you know that's the motto of this channel and the live show? We just make people hungry.
Simba pretzels are another good one.
The Simba pretzels.
They're better than Mickey pretzels.
They're better than the Mickey pretzels. They're better than the Mickey pretzels. I know we've talked about this off the show, but yeah, those Simba pretzels, they're fantastic. Can't go wrong. Hey, if you're into popcorn, like, it's a good deal if you keep filling that bucket up. The bucket's usually what, like $15, $16 generally, and then the refills are like $1.
I think they're $2.
$2. Look at them raising prices again. No, yeah, but it works. It's a good deal. Tachos.
Yes.
Tachos at Woody's Lunchbox.
We love Woody's Lunchbox.
Woody's Lunchbox to me is like, if you're looking for an all-around solid quick service place, like Woody's Lunchbox, it has everything. It's got the tachos, it has the sandwiches, and it's like you can never go wrong. You can whatever you order, can never go wrong.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jessica mentions those ice cream cookie sandwiches at Hollywood Scoops on Sunset Boulevard with like the real cookie and that hard ice cream. Oh gosh, so good.
Jessica, I see your comment about not liking Dole Whip. I don't hate it, but it's not my favorite either. So
it's not for everybody, I actually would say Sunshine Tree Terrace has better options than Aloha Isle. Another hot take tonight. I love Sunshine. How many times we talked about tachos on this channel? Let's see. We have video about making them. How many live shows was this? Live show number 35. So at least 36 times, but it's probably more. Frozen cappuccinos are really good too at Joffrey's. They make solid frozen cappuccinos there. Oh my gosh!
What did I say?
Starbucks is good too, and they have, like, of course, Disney themed treats there as well. At Halloween they bring out that like giant Mickey cinnamon bun, and with the Halloween icing and everything. Good stuff. And one more place I have to mention before we go way off topic is Sleepy Hollow in Magic Kingdom. Oh my gosh, waffle sandwich, 100 plus times for tachos. Okay, I guess we'll go back. We'll review all the video and we'll count it up, and we'll. But yeah, that's the thing. Once you've had them, you're not going back. It's hard to order anything else with his lunchbox when you go there because you're like, well, I feel bad not ordering the tachos. Tachos and a root beer float. Okay. Before I make everybody really hungry, what points do you guys have tonight that you thought of?
So we were just saying, like, whenever somebody wants to book a vacation with us, we normally set up a phone call first just to kind of get an idea of like their family, who all is going on the trip, have they been before, when was the last time they were there, is there like something that they're celebrating while they're there, just kind of a general like get to know you. And then we'll ask like when do they want to go. So that was one of our points, like pros and cons to going of different seasons. So like summer break, kids are out of school, but very
Parks
hot.
are busier, it's hot.
Feel free to chime in on any of these. We had like
fall. It's hot.
Like fall, if you want to go for like Halloween parties. Hopefully Halloween parties are back this year. But yeah, if you want to do that, or if you want to go at Christmas time for a Christmas party, or just to see all the decorations. Spring break, is another hot time to go. Or we threw in like the 50th. Disney World is getting ready to turn 50 on October 1st of this year. So they're starting an 18-month celebration. So that would be, we've had a couple people talk to us about wanting to go, but not sure when. So we're like, well, there's sure to be fun stuff going on starting in October. So that's, something to celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite time of year to go, Matt?
Well, I mean, all the time, but no. But I would say if I had to pick a few times that I thought were like really, really good times to go, I love September. Now you have to be a little careful with hurricane season, but September, all the kids will go back to school. So if you have that flexibility where you can go in September, I recommend it because you got the Halloween party going on, which is fantastic. I think I went to about almost 10 Halloween parties on my college program. But that was a different circumstance when they had the Halloween party pass.
Yeah.
But anyway, Halloween party is amazing. The weather's a little cooler. It's still hot in September, but it's not as bad as August. And the spring, like March, but not try to work around like spring breaks if you can, because spring break's going to get crowded. But I kind of like sometimes, again, it depends. Sometimes early March. One time I went in early March and it was great. The weather was not as humid. Flower and Garden was going on, which another hot take. Best festival, Flower and Garden.
We agree.
Everybody's like, it's all food and wine. I'm like, but you can have food and wine and nice topiaries and better weather.
Yeah,
and violet lemonade.
That being said, Festival of the Arts, I liked when they had the Broadway stars come in and sing because I love Broadway. But Brendan says Mickey is getting older and older by the minute. Well, he's way older than 50. Almost double that. Mickey doesn't. No, he looks pretty good, right? I don't know what he does, what kind of self-care routines he has, but it's working for him. But yeah, I would say September and the spring are nice. Summer's good. I'm gonna say if you're gonna do summer, August is probably less crowded. I don't know. I kind of feel like summer at this point is just, it's summer. Everybody's always there. People say like, when is there nobody at Disney World? The answer is never. It's gotten more crowded over the years, which
There's
is
not
good
really
for
like
Disney.
A slow season anymore. I feel like
No.
It's like busy,
and I remember that.
busier.
Yeah, I remember there used to be. I mean, that was partially due to the economy at one point, but like 2009, 2010, 2011, we went late August and nobody was there. Yeah. But now it's ramped up. But I always say it's not about how crowded it is; it's about how you handle the crowds.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure we'll have points about that as well. He has a secret makeup artist using skincare. I don't know. Listen. They didn't teach us that in traditions, so Mickey just showed up, and there was no secrets. I promise. All right. So moving on. What other points do you guys have?
Well, then our next question would be, do you want to stay on property, which we kind of touched on, and what kind of resort do you want to stay at? And that kind of leads into do you know what your budget is? Some people don't even know where to start with budgeting. Some people have a strict budget that they want hotels, tickets, everything to be in that budget. So I think that can kind of depend, obviously, where you stay. And of course, what are your interests? If you have, I'm going to say if you have kids, but we're staying at Art of Animation next month and 20 is the youngest age. But, if you have kids and they want to be at the values where there's the huge characters, or, you're at Pop with all the bowling pins and, just the super bigger than life, fun things, then I'm going to recommend that. Even though, people might think oh, is it it's cheaper? Is it not as good? It's arguably better. I know we already touched that, but,
and you have to think about too, the age of your kids and that kind of stuff, because it's if you're taking younger kids, they're going to want to see the huge Ursula at Art of Animation and play on the huge football field at All-Star Sports and that kind of stuff, where, I don't know, Bay Lake Tower or the Contemporary or stuff like that. They're pretty basic hotel rooms. There might be a Mickey head here or something like that, but they're not as fun necessarily for kids. But also the kids can wake up and see the castle outside their window. So it's just kind of,
that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
What are you wanting to pay for?
Yeah. I mean, if it's just an adult trip and you wanted a quieter resort, then maybe not a value. And it's also just, or you're going to spend a lot of time at Epcot, then maybe the Riviera or some Epcot resort or a Skyliner resort, an easy way to spend lots of time there.
And are you planning on spending time at your resort too? Because like Matt had mentioned earlier, if you're just needing a bed, don't spend the money on a super nice resort.
Yeah.
But if you're wanting to take a resort day or spend time at your resort and that's important to you, then I feel it's worth looking into maybe a moderate or deluxe, but it just all depends.
Yeah. And I think, one tip I would have is if you want to, do some of the things at those deluxe resorts, eat. This always goes back to food. If you want to eat at some of the nicer restaurants at the deluxe resort, you could do that without staying at that resort.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you could stay at, you're staying at one of the values and you want to book something at Topolino's Terrace up on the top of the Riviera. You can. So, you could get a taste of those resorts without actually staying there. And, something I love too about Disney World is that whether you spend $200 a night on the room or, $800 a night on the room, you're getting that same Disney guest service everywhere. There might be more deluxe amenities at some of the deluxe resorts, but the guest service, the level of guest service is the same all over Disney property, whether it's the parks, resorts, Disney Springs, wherever. So, you can't go wrong anytime you stay on property. You're getting that Disney service.
Yeah, I agree. We have a question in the chat there about food and wine. That would be another, just backing up a little bit, of when do you want to go? If you want to go for a specific festival, that would be something to consider. So what are our tips for food and wine festival? Well, one tip I would have just for any festival is to look before you go at all the food that they have and know what you have to hit, so you're not halfway around World Showcase and you're stuffed, but you haven't even gotten to the thing you're looking forward to most. Just kind of have an idea. You're probably going to get there and more things are going to look good. But also, if at all possible, split it into a couple days, so you're not just eating till you're miserable, and you can kind of enjoy other things, that they have out at the festivals.
And I feel too, especially with food and wine, where they're so heavily based on food, is like, don't plan a meal for that day. Just say, okay, around lunchtime, we're going to hit festival booths, or dinner is going to be festival booths, and go with more than one person. You can split it, that kind of stuff, so you can try more things. And another tip that I saw, I've never personally done it, and I feel like you could do it with any festival, is to buy a gift card. So then you know how much money you're spending too. Like if you don't want to spend more than $100 on festival food, buy $100 gift card, and you just use that whenever it's gone, then you're done buying festival food. I feel like that's just kind of a good overall tip with things, is if you know how much money you want to spend, put it on a gift card. So then whenever they tell you that your chicken nuggets are $13 and you only have $7 left, well, I got to go find something else. Like,
yeah. Or just add money to the gift card, or just, pull out the credit card anyway.
Right. I was gonna say, I would be like that.
I don't recommend that. No, I think the gift card is great. Also, if you're planning on, this is your vacation, you're planning on doing some of the Epcot attractions too in Future World or World Showcase, I would say I have a decent rope drop strategy. And if those of you who haven't heard the term rope drop before, it basically means getting there right at park open. As soon as the park opens, they drop the rope, whether there's actually a physical rope or not. But it's so that's right at the beginning of the day, and you want to knock out maybe those popular attractions so that you have more time to eat, and then save things like Figment and Living with the Land for maybe a little later in the day when you need that air conditioning. After, not only is it 100 degrees in the middle of August, but you're eating and drinking all day, you're gonna get warm. So you might want to get some AC, some of those other lighter Epcot attractions. Although you never know, sometimes Figment has a line around the pavilion, and it's shocking. But yeah, eat and enjoy it. There's so much to eat. Look at the menu ahead of time, like you guys said. I think that's important. You kind of know what you want to eat, and yeah, you need a bunch of days to eat everything you want. I probably didn't eat everything I wanted to when I was down there as a local, so but just enjoy the food. There's so many different options. So
yeah, and I would definitely just second what Hannah said about sharing. If you're wanting to try like a lot of things, then most things can be split easily, and you still get to try it and enjoy it, but you're not going to be as full, and you can save some money.
Yeah, and shout out to the Brazilian cheese bread. It's fantastic. That Brazil pavilion's good, or the Brazil stand is good. Pork belly there is good. I had a friend who always, she did her college program, and every time she went to Epcot and went to Food and Wine, she said, I'm going to try all these things, and then she just wound up having the pork belly in Brazil. So it's been highly recommended before. So but again, there's so much great food. So that's what I say about Food and Wine. Again, whole other show. Actually, next week's show, we're going to do a quick little advertisement here, the mid-credits advertisement, if you will. Next week's show, we're going to be imagining the future and pitching the next Epcot festival. So all the adventurers will be pitching their idea for an Epcot festival, and then you guys out in the chat will vote on what should be the next Epcot festival. So
fun.
Perfect segue. Thank you. I love when that happens, Ryan. All right. So what else do you guys have?
Then we would ask, do you guys want to visit all 4 parks? Do you want to visit water parks? And also, depending on like when you're wanting to go, we need to be looking at park pass availability right now and talking about getting park passes.
There's just not really much on that we can really help with. We can recommend things, or like this park has this for kids, or this is more of an adult-based park, or however you want to look at it. But that's just kind of comes down to like how much research you want to do on them too. Like if you just know you want to go to all 4, great, that makes it easy. But if you're only wanting to do 2-day base ticket, then we need to look at, who's in your party, what's going on.
Are you Star Wars fans? I mean, do you not care about Star Wars? Don't care about Toy Story? Then, maybe
then
we
that's
don't
good. You'll be waiting much less time in line.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but
and like water parks too, you know, like if you're going in summer, do you want to take a day just where you go to a water park, or do you not care to go to a water park? So
yeah, and that just kind of would lead into the park hopper question that we discussed at the beginning, but yeah, just kind of cover all the ticket things and what they're hoping to get out of their trip as far as parks. And then that's going to lead into all of our favorite conversation, dining.
yes, there we go.
Yeah, we would, want to talk to you about if you're wanting to eat like mainly quick service, mainly sit-down restaurants, mixture of both, what kind of food you like, do you want to do character meals? Yeah, and just kind of go from there. Do you want like fancier meals? And of course, we have snack recommendations. But yeah, and then just something like that we offer as part of our business is like a suggested itinerary that we can make for you, depending on like if you have kids, like what their heights are, what they're able to ride, what they like, how much you're wanting to get done in a day. If you want to kind of like get as much done as possible, or laid back, if you have dining reservations, if you're wanting to take a break in the middle of the day, etc. So,
and a good point Matt had brought up too is rope dropping. That is like the best tip I can give anyone for Disney vacations is if you're not going to do anything, make sure you rope drop and you rope drop right, because that's how you're going to get the most out of your day without waiting in line. And so we kind of walk you through on your itinerary. This is how you need to rope drop. These are the attractions we recommend rope dropping and that kind of stuff. Because, if you're not Star Wars people, then, or you don't care about Toy Story, or your kids are too little to ride Slinky, like that's not what we're going to recommend for you to go do. But there's an attraction for everyone to rope drop. I feel like there's at least one in every type of category that can get long. That's a good choice for rope drop. But
yeah, another go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you guys had to pick, and you base it on your own personal preferences, if you like, one rope drop attraction for each park, what's that first one that you think is the top one to head to?
Okay. Animal Kingdom, Flight of Passage.
I agree on that.
That's my easiest answer. And kind of going along with that, I think if you do rope drop correctly, like you have your attraction you do, like Flight of Passage, but then if you're heading to like the Safari or Navi River Journey or Everest after, you still probably won't have to wait that long because everybody's still behind you going to Flight of Passage.
And we'll emphasize that like if you do rope drop right, because I know some people that say that they rope drop, but they get there not at rope drop, and like 7 Dwarfs is already 45 minutes.
Like to me, like rope drop is getting there an hour before the park opens.
Yeah,
at least getting there at 9 or whenever the park opens, you're behind.
Yeah, we agree. Oh, sorry, I already got off track from your question.
That's what we do on the show. And I slowly started, so it's
You'd agree, Flight of Passage.
I would agree, Flight of Passage.
You too, Matt?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just no doubt.
Studios. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, we can go to studios. Okay, so something that I kind of like tried and true. Like a recent way to rope drop, I go straight to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which is the newest attraction in Hollywood Studios. If you are unfamiliar, if you get like right on that and then head to Slinky Dog Dash, still probably gonna wait like less than half an hour. That's kind of my like rope drop strategy right now in Hollywood Studios, and I have been able to do like Mickey and Minnie's and then Slinky and still go to Falcon without that long of a wait. That kind of starts to push it, but I would definitely, I feel like Studios is the hardest because then you have your sunset attractions starting to line up.
Which are
that to me is the wild card.
Too.
Like it could be like Tower of Terror, you can either get on it sort of quick, or it could be a 2-hour wait. Depending on how the elevators are working. So that's always the wild card. Then you have to throw in that you got to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning or 6:30 to be ready for 7 o'clock to get your Rise of the Resistance boarding group.
Right.
So Hollywood Studios has a lot of moving parts.
Yeah,
but I actually agree with you, Audrey. I would do Mickey and Minnie, cut over to Slinky, and then Falcon if possible. I think that's a good strategy.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely say Mickey and Minnie's too. I am very emotionally attached to that ride since it opened during my program, but that's okay. It's still like a great attraction, and it does get long. It's the newest thing there, and it's going to get long. And not very many people have ridden it whenever you look at the grand scheme of Disney attractions. So definitely recommend that.
Studios is definitely like the wild card. Like, it doesn't have the one answer like Flight of Passage.
But it's things like too, if you're going with kids that are going to be scared of Tower of Terror and aren't tall enough for Rock and Roller Coaster, then it's a no-brainer where you need to go. Where, if you're not Star Wars people, or your kids don't want to do Slinky, or, whatever factors go into that, well, then maybe you should go down Sunset first. So, yeah.
Okay, so Epcot. Okay, I'll throw out my unpopular opinion. Not a Test Track fan. I loved the old Test Track, but
me neither. So there we go.
Okay, great.
So maybe it's not as unpopular as you thought.
Test Track fan. It's not a bad thing to rope drop, but
yeah. I think it depends where you're coming from. If you're getting off the Skyliner and you care to do Frozen, that's what I'm going to recommend. Since you're already in World Showcase, if you're getting off a bus at the front of the park, then I'm going to say like Soarin' or Test Track if that's what you would choose. Personally, I would go to Soarin' or Frozen, depending on where I was coming in the park.
And then I would go into the other one right away. Like, if I did Frozen first, go to Soarin' pretty quick after. If I went to Soarin' first, I go to Frozen. Because, you're normally going to be able to get 2 good attractions done without very much wait, if you rope drop right.
Yeah, now this strategy may completely change when October 1st rolls around and Remy's Ratatouille Adventure opens. Yeah. And then even further down the line, Guardians of the Galaxy, I think is going to be that hot ticket one in the front of the park.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, talk to us in like a year. That answer will probably change.
We'll have another show with Epcot rope drop strategy once those new attractions open, because
Frozen will be like a 15-minute wait. We'll be like,
yeah.
No one even remembers that ride.
That's the Toy Story mania of now.
Right. And Epcot's so big that it's not like Hollywood Studios. You could be like, okay, Mickey and Minnie, then cut over to Slinky real quick. It's okay. Guardians of the Galaxy when that's open, and then go all the way to the complete other side of the world, literally and figuratively, in France, and go to Remy, and then maybe cut back over to Norway, and then we didn't do Soarin' yet, and that went up to 60 minutes. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be very interesting.
It's gonna slowly creep up to studios, I feel like. Yeah, with like difficulty.
Yeah.
And when Fast Passes are back, it'll be interesting how they do the tiers.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I don't know. Guardians will be tier 1, and probably so will Remy. And you maybe you move Soarin' down to tier 2, which would be nice.
I was gonna say those 2 new ones, and probably Frozen still.
Yeah,
probably will be.
What about Test Track? Well, what do you think happens to Test Track? Do you think it gets bumped? I know we want it to get bumped, but do you think it's?
I think it's.
I could see Test Track staying in 1 and Frozen dropping to 2.
I could.
There's no way to know.
See, the problem with Test Track is I always say it's very unreliable attraction. It can go down so easily, and when it goes down, it gets backed up.
Yeah,
and when it gets backed up, the weight skyrockets. For a ride that, listen, if you like really fast rides, then it's fun, but to me, it's not my favorite. So I'm not gonna wait anything over, whatever the single rider wait is, which I don't think is happening right now. But I think when that comes back. But so I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
I had never done the previous one, I may not have such a strong opinion on this one. But whenever you have something to compare it to, and it's significantly,
it's kind
not
of
as great as the other one.
It almost became almost too computerized in a sense. Like it kind of like they renovated it and then it was outdated so quickly. Whereas like the first one, because you had the pre-show with like the actual people, it was a little more of a human connection to it. So now it's like, okay, you're building your own car, but even the graphics on that thing, you're like, well, that's, it's outdated itself. It's too quickly.
It's like just neon light up boards. I don't know. It's just not.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like
kind of
as
looks
Disney
like
to me as some attractions do.
It's really gonna probably go down a peg when Tron opens.
Yeah,
because Tron's gonna have the same look, but much better. So it should be interesting. Yeah. Well, speaking about Tron, what's the Magic Kingdom rope drop strategy?
This, of course, I know, I'm sorry, but totally depends what you're interested in. Definitely a top contender would be Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. But if you have done that and you're not interested in doing it or whatever, any mountain is great. I would say Space is probably going to get the longest line the quickest, but
Splash throughout the day will get the longest, normally out of all three of them. So, and especially whenever it gets redone, people are probably going to want to do it more. So
that's gonna, oh yeah, for sure.
You can count me out on that. No, I'm just kidding. I'll probably write it, but I'm just a little upset.
Go ahead, Audrey.
I was just going to say, I would say also before it gets redone. After that date gets announced, there's going to be such a line all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember when the parks first reopened again, people went flooding to it because it's the unknown of when is this going to close. We still have an unknown, but if I had to guess, it's going to be, now don't quote this, everyone, and don't say, well, Matt said it wasn't going to close till then and they closed it early, so I wasn't ready. But my guess would be 2023.
Yep, me too.
Because of everything that's in the projects that are already being done need to be finished, and it's going to be after the 50th. You can't close a popular attraction down during the 50th with the crowds that you'll probably expect.
And like we're going into summer, like it's getting hot. You can't take away a water ride. Disney can do whatever they want. So whenever I say they can't,
right. That's why I say don't quote us, because you never know.
It would not be a logical choice for them to close down a water ride going into summer, and it's like it's going to be hot up until the 50th. So
yeah. I mean, that's a great point you bring up about, well, we could say Disney won't do this, but they could. I was the one who always said, oh, well, the Great Movie Ride will be safe for at least like 5 more years. Nope. A couple weeks later, we're closing Great Movie Ride. All right. But that being said, I love Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Yeah.
So that's a whole other debate. But Splash Mountain, I'm gonna miss Splash Mountain. I feel like that was like, for a lot of us kids, that's like our first big ride. So
a lot of nostalgia to it.
I understand, you could argue Splash Mountain is a little outdated in a sense, even if it didn't have any controversy, it's who would know that movie anyway. But what I want them to do is I want them to keep the name Splash Mountain and then have a sub name like Tiana's whatever they want to call it, because I feel like I don't want to lose that mountain range. I feel like there's something
lose like another mountain.
Yeah. I'd say you go in like, oh, I want to conquer the Magic Kingdom mountains, and so to lose that.
Okay, there's 2 of them.
Still 2, so the challenge becomes less, but but yeah, I agree. I would go Space Mountain first, I think, and then if you're interested in Buzz Lightyear, it might not be a bad time to knock out Buzz, because Buzz sometimes gets a long wait, and it's okay. I'm like, I wouldn't like say like
the same thing for Astro Orbiter.
Astro Orbiter is a skippable attraction for me.
I totally
like the
agree,
view,
but if it's something you're wanting to do, it's gonna get long.
Yeah. Oh, it is. And then you got to go up in the elevator and all that. And everybody who's watched this show before knows what I'm about to say, that we're in the Tomorrowland area, and I'm gonna say it. And I know some people like it, and it works for especially little kids. They really like this attraction. But for me, if you're not interested in this, skip it. And it's the Tomorrowland Speedway. Not a fan. Not a fan.
Yeah.
But hey, if there's people that want to do it, they takes the crowds away from attractions I want to do. So
Yep.
Works for me.
Yeah.
And I would say too, if you do Seven Dwarfs, then you're in Fantasyland, go over and check out Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if Peter Pan necessarily
definitely
would be a great rope drop, but it's also like if you have super young kids that aren't going to do Seven Dwarfs or Splash or Space, then it is a good choice. So
yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I think if you have younger kids, Fantasyland is the way to go.
Yeah.
Generally speaking. Because Peter Pan can get long too for a very short attraction.
Mm-hmm.
But another tip that I always like to preach to is if you have a popular attraction that you either don't have a fast pass for, or you want to do it again and you couldn't get to it at rope drop, go at the end of the night. If you're staying until the park closes, jump in the line for Seven Dwarfs at the end of the night, because there's two pros to this. One is, well, the park's closed. There's nothing else you could do anyway, so you get to actually extend your night a little bit. And two, the line does move faster at the end of the night because, we're just trying to move it along and, close the attraction. So, it's going to move quick. It's always shorter than what the posted
as high as it's posted at.
Right.
They don't want you to get in line.
Exactly. I've had Seven Dwarfs. Sometimes I'll say 90 minutes. I jump in line at the end of the night. 20 minutes, I'm off the ride.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm heading out and smelling things from the confectionery and being drawn into it. So
and
always
you get
comes back
such
to
a cool view of the parks, with no one in them.
You do.
You've closed down Main Street. You've closed down Epcot, and it's there's such a just very surreal of being in the park with no one else.
Yeah, and especially I like that walk as you exit Mine Train and then you go through the castle to exit, and then you get that nice shot of Main Street from, that castle area. I love that so much. And just walking down Main Street when it's less busy, and sometimes, depending on the time, and I don't know, exactly how it is now, but sometimes you can get a couple extra PhotoPass photos on your way out.
Yeah,
it's another good one. The Memory Maker.
Yeah,
yes.
I love it. If you have an annual pass, you get the Memory Maker, but if you don't, I highly recommend the Memory Maker. It pays for itself if you take a lot of pictures, especially when character meet and greets come back. You get a lot there.
Yeah.
Yes, we are also a big fan of that. But that is also what kind of if we were to tell you what to do without you giving us what your wants were first, we would tell you to rope drop. And rope drop well, and then do a few things, have lunch, and then take a break by either going to a resort you're not staying at and checking it out, or sometimes even a break could be a sit down in a park, just something where you're not going inside, you're stopped for a little bit. If you need to take a nap, that'd be a great time, and then coming back for the last 3, 4, 5 hours that the parks are open and really getting stuff done then too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I used to be someone who was against the break, and then I'm not anymore. I like the idea for sure. You have to watch out with the Disney transportation, I think, sometimes, because you never know, it could take a while. But I do agree, because it gets hot in the middle of the day, so you take that break and you go back and it cools down. Get some things done. But like you mentioned too, there's good places in park to take a break. Carousel of Progress, 20 minutes of air conditioning. You get to chill out in there. I love the Carousel of Progress, by the way, one of my favorites. The Tiki Room. We all know I love the Tiki Room. It's up there.
Yes.
And I work there. We know I love it. But that's another good one to sit down and relax. That was the great thing about, and Nate will be happy that I brought this up, but one of the attractions that was so great for that break in the middle of the day was Ellen's Energy Adventure at Epcot when they had that. Sometimes the thing was so empty you could just lay out on the whole row and just take a nap. People did that. But yeah, and thank you, Brendan, for plugging one of our videos. I do have a Galactic Hero tips and tricks how to do it. It says easy plug. Brendan knows I like easy plugs, so just shameless plugs, really. Yep.
So it's you've been a Galactic Hero.
I have a few times. And okay, the first time was like half Galactic Hero because I stopped right in front of Zurg's Target, so you just rack up 100,000 each time.
Yeah. Well, that's another one that always stops. So
yeah, so it works. But I have gotten it legally too, I guess we'll say. But like, I think like, listen, I don't think that's cheating. If you stop, you're taking advantage of the situation. I think that's perfectly fine, and that's a legal way to get Galactic Hero. But I have done it without stopping as well. You didn't
stop the ride.
Yeah, and you know what my biggest tip on getting Galactic Hero is to like listen to your laser. Like, because sometimes it's hard to see it. So if you like, I always like to put my hand out too right before the ride, and there's my hand, and see my laser on there, and then get what the sound is, so that like when it starts going, then I can try to find it, because it's tough. But yeah, because that's an elite group, by the way. That's my sister, by the way. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, she likes to, of course, make fun of me in the chat as well. But hey, that's an elite group of people, and you should feel proud of that, especially if you have the sticker too. Don't forget to get your sticker at the end of the ride, or button sometimes. But
well, we'll do a little shameless plug because we have a Galactic Hero shirt coming out soon, so stay tuned.
Really? Wow, that's amazing. Take my money now. I love it. Guys, their shirts are amazing. I love that Animal Kingdom one too, by the way. I thought that was a great
thank you.
Great one. Releasing that on their birthday too. So
yes.
Yeah. And I love your shirts are underrated things. It's not just like Disney World established 1971. That's great stuff too. But like, my shirt says spring rolls on it. Most people are like, what spring rolls? Like, what is that? We know. Us Disney fans, we know. We know. Well, anyway, now that we've gone off on another tangent,
kind of going back on the closing park stuff too, is most people don't know this, but the attractions do not close unless it's like the safari or something where it does have a closing time. They don't close until park close. So if the park closes at 10 p.m., you can get in line at 9:59, and the cast members are not supposed to tell you that you cannot ride. So, if you've got 10 minutes left and you're like, oh, this attraction's 30 minutes long, they're going to make me get out. If you're in line before park closing, you get to ride the ride. So that's like my biggest tip is get in line right at park closing. Yeah. For something like Flight of Passage or Mine Train or Slinky, something big, like go big or go home.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I remember there was one trip where we had done Seven Dwarfs Mine Train 10 times on the trip. And that's because we would do it. We had a fast pass, what they were Magic Kingdom, and then we did it at the end of the night. And it's great. And if you're there and you're gonna stay long, and plus it lets the crowds leave the parks too. Especially if you're driving to Magic Kingdom and you need to get back to the TTC, Transportation and Ticket Center. Sometimes it gets a little crowded on that monorail or ferry, but go on the ride. They're not going to leave you in there. They're not going to not take you back to your resort. So make sure everybody gets home. So I think it's a great strategy to do something at the end of the night.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, those were pretty much our points. We'll review them, but kind of figure out who's going. Do you have a reason like you're going? And when do you want to go? Which that might kind of go together with why you're going.
Do you want to stay on property? What parks do you want to go to? What type of tickets are you wanting?
What kind of resort are you wanting to stay at if you are staying on property?
What type of budget are you looking at as far as resort ticket dining? are you wanting kind of the more expensive meals or just something quick?
Yeah, so dining's kind of for right now, of course, fast passes, that will definitely be another show. Hopefully fast passes will be back and that will be a show. But yeah, for right now, we kind of have park passes that we have to work around and figure out, but dining, we can save that for another week, but that's a big topic. Obviously.
Everyone makes sure you eat dinner before the show so that way your stomach's not growling.
Exactly. And this is why I think, as you mentioned, things like park passes and our fast pass is going to come back and things like discounts and deals. That's why I think it's such an important thing and a great thing to have a travel agent help you out, because things are always changing and evolving, and it's so overwhelming sometimes for people. I remember, my time as a cast member, I'm sure you guys have had these encounters as well a few times where, people just are so overwhelmed with, they got the tickets and they got, try to figure out where to go and, where's this attraction, where's that? And, how does Fast Pass work? I always had the thing a lot of time where, the card tickets would always say Fast Pass Plus on the bottom, basically advertising Fast Pass. But people thought that they just automatically had Fast Pass and they could just use it similar to Universal's Express Pass, where you just kind of use it on any attraction. But so that's why I think it's great, because things are changing. So to have somebody there to be monitoring that and then to help you adjust that as it goes along, I think is great. And then I have one bonus tip that my family knows that I preach this tip, and I think it's a tip that sometimes people don't think about, and it's going to save you time. And it's going to sound crazy, but it saves you time. Unless you're traveling solo, but if you're traveling with more than just yourself and someone has to use the restroom, go at the same time, the whole party. Because sometimes you'll get somebody goes and that's good, and then they walk for a little bit and then, oh, wait, now someone else has to go, and then you wind up stopping and going. Crazy tip, but it works.
Yeah.
Especially with the amount of water that you should be drinking in the parks.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You'll spend just as much time in the restroom as you do waiting online for attraction. Something. Well, maybe not that much time. Hopefully not that much time. But but you will be making some visits. So I think it's always good to go together. Yeah, see, Jessica knows I say it.
A question.
But good tips.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Do you have a favorite bathroom?
Yes, I have a few.
I need to. Let's go.
Favorite bathroom. You can't go wrong with the Tangled restrooms. They're just so well themed. You kind of feel bad for Rapunzel that all she got is a bathroom in the corner of Fantasyland, but I think they're great. I also love the fact that Liberty Square does not have outdoor bathrooms. I think that's such great theming.
Mm-hmm.
And that pathway that's in the middle, for those of you that didn't know that, is waste. So that's what you're walking through in Liberty Square. You're welcome. I also like at the front of the park by City Hall. Those are good bathrooms too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's
it's like nice, like when you're leaving, like it's a perfect location. Hollywood Studios. I like the Toy Story Land ones. My least favorite bathroom in Hollywood Studios is one by Tower of Terror. It's a little tight, that one.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
Really? It's fine. I don't know. I don't know.
I shouldn't say favorites. It's not really even themed, but it's just one I use often, I should say. That's just like a, okay, we're here.
I like the one in the middle of Sunset with the steps going up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one.
I think it's kind of a hidden one.
Mm-hmm. The Galaxy's Edge ones are interesting, with the different sinks and everything. Epcot, I don't know. I don't have a particular one in Epcot, I don't think. Oh, no. Oh, I love the Norway bathrooms in Frozen.
Yeah.
I like those. And Animal Kingdom. Pandora's good. You see I'm going with the well-themed ones here as opposed to maybe the use of it. But
okay, the Pandora ones next to the entrance or the Pandora ones near
Satuli?
Satuli.
I think I'm gonna go near Satuli. The accessible ones I use I probably use the most because I go to Satuli all the time. That's my favorite quick service.
Oh, same.
Yep.
Get bang for your buck there. It's good. Same thing for Pecos. You get your bang for your buck there. And the bathrooms at Pecos are pretty good. Anyway, there's a lot of good bathrooms,
Right?
and there's a lot of them too.
Yeah.
I like the one by Pirates also. Anyway, I mean, what about you guys? Do you have certain spots you prefer?
We've had a lot
to hit?
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of good
ones. Yeah, I mean, you honestly hit most of mine.
I love the Riviera bathrooms on the outside, like so not in the lobby, but if you're walking like by the pool, walking towards the Skyliner, they have like in the building part some bathrooms.
Very
I
nice.
put that on my
those.
must-do list because I've never,
Right?
I've never used those. This is when you become a super Disney fan like us. You just start talking about, okay, like which bathroom do I need to hit next time?
Right. My first time in the
Oh my
Toy Story Land
goodness.
bathrooms was actually in September. I had never been in them, but I loved them.
Really?
They were so fun, and they're really big.
Yeah.
I liked that part too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone's
I
like,
think
what in the world? I was watching this show because I've never been, and now I know where everyone's at.
I know where to
exactly
be.
where to use the restroom. Oh my goodness. No, but I mean, it's a serious thing because, like, you know, the bathrooms are actually really nice at Disney World, and there's a lot of them. So like, you always feel like, you know, it's easy to access. You know, there's it's not something difficult to find.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, do you guys have any last bonus tips before we wrap up?
I don't think so for now.
All right. Well, we will.
Basics.
Yeah, I mean, we will have. Yeah, we covered basics, and we even went as deep as the bathroom. So you know,
right? Basics and bathrooms. What more do you need?
Exactly. So no, thank you guys for coming on tonight and talking all this stuff, and we're gonna you know, be doing more planning the magics with more specific topics. Maybe we'll do a whole show about the restrooms, and we'll research up on that, you know, of course. You know, we need the whole layout and everything. No, anyway, you know, dining, fast pass, all that great stuff. So we will be doing more of these. So yeah, thank you guys again for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, and be sure to, if you guys need help planning your vacation, be sure to email them at themagiccoordinators@gmail.com. Of course, I'll bring up all the stuff in a minute here, but all their information for both Magic Coordinators and Dreams That Glow is in the description with links and all that great stuff. So please go check them out and support Audrey and Hannah because they do great stuff. And not only they're going to help you plan your vacation, but they're going to make sure you look great while you're going. So, you know, this is not a bad idea coming in here. Walt Disney World bathroom magic madness. We're getting to that point in our shows where I'm gonna pitch that idea and see where that goes. I think that's good. I probably threw a pun in there without even knowing it. Anyway, let's wrap up tonight with some last minute announcements and things. Of course, always be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube if you have not. We got a lot of great vlogs and stuff coming up in the summer and later. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at The Magical Adventurers. Alexis has some great stuff over there and on Facebook. If you're joining us for the first time or if you've been here many times, we always ask that you please spread the word about the Magical Adventurers, the Magic Coordinators, Dreams That Glow, all of that amazing stuff, because we are always looking to build our community and bring in more magical, amazing people like yourself. So please spread the word. Because we love to build up our community around here and talk all things Disney. And be sure to join us every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. for a brand new live show. We have a lot of exciting topics coming up, including next week, where you guys will get to decide the next Epcot Festival. As we pitch the next Epcot Festival, all of the Magical Adventurers, I think pretty much everybody will be here next week, I believe, and they will be pitching their next idea for an Epcot Festival, and you guys will get to vote as which one should be next. And as always, our show is brought to you by the Magic Coordinators, Disney Vacation Planning. Be sure to check them out at themagiccoordinators@gmail.com or on Facebook at the Magic Coordinators, and Dreams That Glow Clothing Company. Find them on Etsy or their Instagram at dreamsthatglowco_. Well, thank you guys again for joining us tonight, and look out for that Bathroom Magic Madness. It's going to be exciting, and all of our great stuff coming up. So thanks again for joining us tonight, guys, and until our next magical adventure, see ya real soon.